Welcome back to session 1. This is part 2, where we're going to continue helping Corbin to clarify his purpose by discussing his needs and wants in more detail.
Cool.
Will that continue from where we were?
Yes.
I'm interested in the face. Yeah, that's like are we on?
Yes.
That's good, because the camera's like a third person in the conversation. I won't propose to talk particularly to the camera, but I might occasionally. But so in terms of my focus, I've asked you a question, so I'm looking at you for the answer rather than the camera for the answer, obviously.
Yes.
So the question I asked you was pretty much your needs and wants, which is the kind of fundamental seeking information question. I want to understand, I want to learn what are your needs and wants before I go into any kind of telling process.
Okay.
So it's making sure what we're going to be doing with this whole experience is focusing it around what you want. So again, there's two principles of conversation.
I'm going to open up the idea of conversation control, which uses various tools. It's a very important soft skill. A simple and powerful tool for getting and giving information is to push or pull using statements or questions. Also, to try and get the student, in this case Corbin, possibly one day you, pulling information from the conversation leader. So get used to the idea of, are you just sucking up information that someone wants to tell you, or are you pulling information from a source that you think will be valuable to you? So watch this next section to understand better the skills of how to do that.
What's called a push and what's called a pull. Okay, so a push conversation is where you go in, you sit in a classroom or whatever, people push information at you, or they push their own interests at you. And a pull conversation is where you're pulling information from me, or you're generally going out there and seeking what you want. So so it's a pull question that I've asked you, and it's about your needs and your wants. So go for it.
So you were asking me what I thought I needed to be educated about and what I wanted to be educated about. Earlier, before we stopped the camera.
Okay.
I feel like I'd need to know how to communicate with people effectively. Because that's before I can even convey information.
Can I just make a little note of that as you're saying it?
But you're going to know a whole load of stuff that I would want to know.
Give me a moment, I'll just get this pencil.
That I don't even that I don't know.
So repeat what you said before. I have a appalling memory.
I'm about to use another conversational control method called the power of the pen. The idea is that the person actually holding the pen or control of the conversation in any way, for example, standing at a whiteboard with marker pens in their hands, actually also has the power to control the pace of the conversation and the direction of the conversation. So if you are in an open discussion with a group of people and you want to get control of the whole situation, potentially you can become the person standing at the front, holding the pen and directing how the conversation goes. Join in on any group activity to develop your soft skills as a participant or leader. It will be very valuable later on, not just at interview, but when you actually join a company and you have to work with people, because that's the really important aspect.
I feel like I need to know how to communicate with people.
Okay, so if we do needs and wants, okay? So you feel you need to know how to communicate.
Well, before I can convey any type of information, I need to know how to do it properly.
Well, okay, so that's how to communicate information then.
Well,
This is about
it's not what you can't have a conversation without transferring some kind of information, can you? So
I don't know. I think you can have conversations. Hello, how are you today? It's nice weather, isn't it?
it's still information, but that's basic. I'd say that's a need for anyone, I think. But if
Well, let's just come back to that then.
okay,
So you have a particular perception or definition of information.
In the world of work, you have to think before you speak, and that applies equally in interviews. Most of the next few minutes is about the words Corbyn is using. People tend to think very loosely about what words they use. In fact, they tend not to think at all. I want Corbyn to start thinking about the importance of choosing a given word to say in a conversation, so that the listener or interviewer, if maybe, understands the real meaning of what he wants to communicate. He needs to own the challenge of avoiding misunderstandings. And so much of ordinary conversation outside of the world of work has loose use of words and very, very frequent misunderstandings.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we could explore that, because what you're going to find as we go on talking is I'm very structured in terms of words and what they are and what they mean to me, but to you they may mean completely different things. And so when I want to capture your perception of a word like information, it's for my benefit as much as it is for your benefit.
Okay.
And I might pounce on the odd word. Pounce is a strong word, but I might want to grab a few of the words you use, actually write them down, so that between us we can work out what the meaning of that word is. So again, I did interrupt you. I'm sorry for that. But so let me just take you back to where you were. You perceive you need to be able to communicate with people, is one of the things you said, I think.
Yes, I mean, this needs and wants in what context? To go where? Just to live?
Corbyn is starting to grow in terms of word sensitivity, and he's about to show he realises the importance of understanding the situation. This shows willingness not only to think about words more deeply before he uses them, but also to consider the broader aspects of the conversation. I use this growing awareness to seed the idea of purpose and getting more deeply into aligning the whole discussion with optimizing his understanding of the importance of purpose so that he can leverage his potential.
Okay, I will answer that. Normally I dodge questions like that because
I'm supposed to work it out.
Yeah. And if you tell people, they forget, and if you involve them, they learn. All right. But
agreed. But I could.
But you asked me what context, and I will put it in context. The context that I'm interested in, and I hope you're interested in, is to help you lead a better life, a more fulfilled life, to help you achieve your potential, which I can see in you with your, just what's inside your head, your attitude as it is today. To me, it's all raw potential. And I think you're telling me you realise that's raw potential and you want to know how to harness that potential.
So maybe that's a want.
Yes, I like that. So we could, if we put it in the first person, it's to harness my potential.
Yes.
What do you think I mean by harness?
Well, to say to harness it kind of assumes that it's already there and that it just needs to be taken control of.
Yes. I mean, what is a harness? What's the word harness mean?
It's like one of those hold your body up things.
Well, it's mostly seen in my world, it's mostly seen to do with horses. You know, you have a harness on a horse so that you can control the horse.
Yes.
And make it turn left and right or jump or whatever it is. And I'm sure anybody who's a horse person or horse rider will be saying, no, that's not what harness is for. But I think in the sort of normal vernacular, that's a word a lot of people won't know, but in common speech, to harness something is actually to put something around it so you can guide it and use it properly. And basically ride the horse to where you want it to go. So that's why I was happy with the word that I brought in, to harness your potential.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
It's important for you to be able to make progress, that you feel you do have potential, even if you're not sure exactly what it is, and even if at this early stage you're not that clear about your purpose. Corbyn's motivation is driven from the fact that he is not satisfied with the direction he feels life is taking him in. He's had a couple of interviews with universities and he didn't enjoy them, and he felt he was being false to himself, talking about physics and maths and things like that. And that's why he's come to us for help. So we don't know your circumstances, but if you do have any feelings like that or thoughts, why not write them down now? Because it's going to be very helpful if you have a few notes about your own needs and wants. We appreciate it's hard to put them down exactly, but the whole process is going to help you clarify those thoughts and those feelings. And hopefully together we can take you forward into this new dimension of your life.